And I just love to know a little bit about where you were born, where you grew up, where you went to school. Give us a little sense of who you are from that perspective.
All right. I'll jump in here. I'm gonna be New York for everybody. Speed it up real quick. I am New York. I was born in New York. I love New York. This hat, I wore it on purpose. It says it all. It's New York or nowhere. If you want to know more about me and a longer story, definitely have a one-on-one, because my journey is an interesting one. Born in New York, like I said, my parents divorced at an early age, lived and grew up in Southern California. So sometimes there might be a little bit of Southern California vibe, but mainly it's New York, high energy, fast pace. Came back here for school, went to NYU, graduated there, live in Chelsea, stone's throw to Madison Square Garden, to be exact, 351 West 24th Street. So let's not play what street do you live on. It's apartment 14D. If you know anybody else in Penn South, introduce me. I love that New York game. Where do you live? What street? Do you know this person? I'm on 24th Street, between 8th and 9th, north side of the street. I'll leave New York, never. Like, I'll go visit other places. Those places are great, but they just are second to the greatest city in the world that was named twice, New York, New York. Yeah. So nice, they named it twice.
So nice, they named it twice.
That's it.
And where you live there in Chelsea, do you live by yourself?
Oh, no. I live with my beautiful wife. First, we had a dog, and now we have 3 beautiful children. So Jonah just turned 5 last week. Lila is 3 1/4, going on a little bit older, and Xander is 1 1/2. So yeah.
And are you willing to share a little bit about how you came to have this family?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. I'll post it to the group. My wife openly discussed the fertility journey that she was on. She wrote an incredible article. Roy commented, thank you. A couple other people saw it, but I'll post it to the group so you can read it. It's a lot longer than the 10 minutes we have, and all 3 of our children were adopted. So they're absolutely so cute. Jay, go ahead, say what you're gonna say. No, Jay loves them. So when Uncle Jay comes by with his dog, but yeah, that's our little that's our family journey, and it's a really cool one. And we live currently, all 3 of them live. They all sleep in the same bedroom, but we're gonna get another apartment. But they can't go to sleep without each other. It's really really sweet.
And how about just for a moment, tell us what Rachel does.
Rachel is a talk therapist. She deals with somatic trauma in the body. She does yoga therapy. She has a full client load. Her office is on 7th Avenue and 30th Street, between 29th and 30th. I've connected her with Claire because my wife has been specializing in couples or individuals dealing with fertility issues and talking that through, and also some other trauma. We went through it ourselves, so she's an expert in that space. Yeah.
So after, I think you went to NYU, you majored in what?
Accounting and finance.
Accounting and finance.
Watch out, Michael. Watch out, I know you're scared. I'm opening those letters.
Yeah. And in talking to Terence yesterday, I learned that Terence, after college, went to Coopers and Lybrand. And that was where I started out not my legal practice, but we overlapped at Coopers and Lybrand.
Yeah, we did.
And then after Coopers and Lybrand, you worked in Wall Street?
Yep, I was, so Coopers and Lybrand, I was in a basement, and like in Syracuse, they'd fly me on a Monday and fly me back, and I'm like, I cannot be in a basement, like talking to one person, crunching numbers. My buddy's like, there's an incredible opportunity on Wall Street. I was like, let's hear more. So I went there, and the energy was next level. I was trading options on the floor of the American Stock Exchange, yelling and screaming and standing in one spot and eating my food like. And my boss is like, you're so dumb, and I'm like, I know I'm so dumb. I keep coming to this job day after day. And he's like, and I mean, we had a great banter. Gary Costello, I still talk to him, and his son, and it's just a different energy, and it was a different time. And then I was there when I still lived in Chelsea, and every day I would take the subway 5 stops to the World Trade Center. And I was there on September 11th, and that really, it turned my life, and it sent me to a really dark place. And I didn't want to go there every day when people are trying to take pictures of a hole in the ground. And I love those buildings. They were built the same year I was built in New York City in 1972, and watching them fall really messed me up.
It was
so.
hard. It was,
Yeah.
I'm sure, very hard. So, Terence, I understand you went to Back on My Feet, a nonprofit, and you worked there for 7 years.
Yeah.
And then you came to Steve's Camp.
Correct.
How did you come to work at Steve's Camp?
So take it back a little bit further. 10 plus years ago, I knew about nonprofits, as we all do. You should give your money and do something that's nice or caring, give your time, give your money, give some aspect to something, find something that you care about. And then I had the fortune of meeting Ann Malum, the founder of Back on My Feet. Somebody introduced us, and I told her my journey of how I left Wall Street, and I went to a dark place. And during our one-on-one, I'll talk openly, briefly about how I was gambling a lot and lost it all and found myself in a gambling rehab facility, and somebody called me up and said, "Where in?" I go, "I don't know where you are, but I'm in rehab for my gambling." And he goes, "No, we both got in the New York City Marathon." And I was like, "Oh man, no more shortcuts, right?" And I was like, "Okay." So I ran in 2002, and that's why I openly talk about my gambling, because of this part of the journey. And I've ran every New York since then. This will be my 21st consecutive. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you. It's a very proud thing of mine. And I told the story to Ann, and Ann's father was a compulsive gambler, and she's like, "You've got to work at Back on My Feet." I was like, "I don't know what to do at the nonprofit." She's like, "You just ask people for money." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But being a New Yorker through and through, I have no problem asking for things, but asking for it with a purpose, asking for it with, where's that ask going to? And sure enough, I found out on what a board's like, and who's actually your boss, and who you're serving, and why you're serving the community you are. And I stayed there for 7 years, and I really transformed the organization with a lot of your help. All of you, whether Joe Gordon raising $50,000+ for one marathon bib. What? 55?
Every time you say it, it gets bigger and bigger.
What'd you say, 105,000? 200, what? Joe Gordon being the top fundraiser ever, raising over $50,000 for one bib. 60,000. Do I hear 70? But and all of you, and just all of that, and then now this year, so many people in this group. But that's how I started there, and then being a part of this group, Jay knew the founder of Steve's Camp, and he introduced me to Steve Kastner, 4.5, 5 years ago, right before really COVID. And Steve is a phenomenal human being, runs a successful business beyond successful, what he's accomplished, and just I've learned so much from him as a business person, and somebody who started a nonprofit that bought the land, gives it back, gives hundreds of thousands of his own dollars per year because he cares so much about making it better. And I have the...
So what's your role at Steve's Camp?
Whatever you want it to be. Right now, I'm coordinating a bus to pick up the camper. I'm technically the CEO, the executive director, the person that makes sure everybody gets paid, makes sure that the website's on, makes sure the bus arrives. But really, it's raising money, making sure the gala gets put on, making sure that the golf event is successful, and we send more kids to camp. Anything, cleaning out toilets when I was up at camp last time, to helping serve food to the campers,
Maybe just tell us one or two things that make Steve's Camp really special.
Steve's Camp, what makes it special is that individual aspect. These kids are New York, Long Island, Staten Island, Westchester. They don't get to get away and unplug, put their phones away. All of us were in this meeting today and on our phones, but imagine if you could put it away for 12 days. We actually take all their phones. They call their parents at the beginning, and they unplug, and they have morning or stretching and working out. We need to get J-Ro up there. And, then they do activities, high ropes, where they get to actually conquer some fears. Maybe their biggest fear might be putting their phone away, not being dialed into technology, but really connecting with people. I think the magical thing is the campfires and seeing the stars at night and making s'mores and making new friendships.
And I think you mentioned one time you have a garden up there.
Oh, yep. We do kind of like a garden to table. Like we grow string beans. We're up there right now. The tomatoes are coming in, zucchinis, beets, carrots. And just incredible flowers. But they learn what it's like to. There's a great video from last year, and some of you that are younger or have kids will understand this. The kid was eating a carrot, and he's like, "This is better than Takis." So some of you get that joke. So Takis are like the thing. There's like a whole craze with it, but the kids like, this is better than Takis. What? Yeah. To say that's pretty big. To see what a carrot. What do you mean it comes in a package, and cut perfectly?
Yeah. Are there anything, speaking of the kids, that they say to you, or anything maybe the parents say to you that you recall?
Yeah, some of the most moving stuff is the parents saying, thank you for giving this opportunity to our kids. Or if they have one kid coming or two, I don't know what they would have done for 12 days, or you've changed their perspective of things. And some of the kids are beyond, grateful. Some are like, oh, I don't want to be here. But by the end, they're like, wow, this is magical. This is transformative. The slogan that a rebranding company did was said, it's a summer of fun, but a lifetime of growth. But it's that little 12 days and the work that the counselors do and what we're building out for a longer term, it really is. It's truly transformed to go to a different place. And people are like, so you're doing this, parents are like, do I have to give them any money? I was like, no, there's nothing to buy. All the food's provided for, the bus, everything. We have the generous, Bombas gives all the kids socks. I've gotten another partnership where they have underwear, so if they don't have certain clean things, we can't do people's laundry. 30, 40 kids laundry, that's all we'd be doing, so they have to bring it up. But if, it rains and their socks are wet, we give them Bombas socks, which is great. But the thanks, some of the calls or the texts I get from the parents, that's where it really chokes me up. I'm glad most of the time it's on a call or a text, because I don't want to cry on the phone to an adult and be like, you're welcome.
You're welcome. And you mentioned, how much time do we have? We're close? Okay. You mentioned the gala a few moments ago. When is the gala, and what is your hope for the gala?
The gala it's going to be Wednesday, October 9th at Braeburn Country Club. Most of you were there when Jay was honored last year. This year will be another board member, Stacy and Mike Bonagura, who've been on the board for a long time. Always your support, silent auction item donations, you showing up, not showing up, just your love and support will take it to the next level, which it always does. If any of you want to go and the $375 ticket, it's like, whoa, I'd still love to go, just give me a call. We'll figure it out. There's always seats where board members buy a table and there'll be a seat. I want you there just to know and see and hear. You can hear it from me all day long. You can hear it from other board members. But when those two kids speak and they talk about their 12 days up at camp, you'll know why you supported the Zimner Invitational. You know why you've raised Claire. People want to raise and run the New York City Marathon. You'll hear it from them. It's not about, I could go on about the kids' stories, but when you hear the kids and you hear how grateful they are, you'll know why. Yeah. So.
And you mentioned a board. How big is the board, and is that something that is an active board? Just tell us a little bit about it.
Jay's on the board, and that was a really wonderful addition. We've got John Starks, so if you want to talk to John Starks every 3 months, he's usually on the calls. New York Knicks, number 3, always number 3 for me. I was born March 3rd, so I kind of like the number 3. I told him that. But yeah, there's 1 or 2 seat opportunity there on a board. There's often a give and get. That's something I learned. It's like you either have to give some money or you help us get some money. And it's a lot easier than you think. I mean, the Zimner Invitational raised, over $30,000 of profit this year. So Jay went above his give and get just on what he does. So there's opportunities, and hopefully, whether it be Steve's camp, we're looking for people, and Beth is probably looking for people. Anybody in the nonprofit space, City Meals on Wheels is an incredible organization. Talk to her and see what she's about, because Steve's camp might not be your cup of tea or your time in the woods, but every nonprofit's looking for that kind of board members, and it's always changing. You don't want board members to stay on for too long, because you want that turnover. You want fresh ideas. You want fresh revenue too. Ideas, revenue, time, yeah.
Okay, so it's the gala October 9th?
Yep, Wednesday, October 9th at Braeburn Country Club. Yep.
And then people who maybe have ideas about other board members, you'd like to, that could be a way they could help?
Board members, foundations, That's really, really kind of cool because they have to give the money away. They literally have to do it every year.
I've got one more question for you.
Please, hit
And
me with
it's
it.
not about Steve's camp.
Okay.
It's about you.
Uh-oh.
And I know you do a lot of running.
Mm-hmm.
What's your passion around running, but also what's the longest competition or run you've done?
My passion,
Why do you,
running saved my life. It's that simple. It is. I mean, anybody who runs with me knows where it comes. I can go into it. I don't want to get too choked up. I don't mind a little bit, but running truly saved my life. The people I met, the journey I've gone on, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have paid off all my debts. I wouldn't have this beautiful wife and 3 incredible children and a phenomenal dog. And I wouldn't have the family in this room if it wasn't for running. It set me on a path. It gives me accountability. It gives me purpose. It makes sure that I put one foot in front of the other and repeat it a lot of times. It reminds me of the consistency and the importance of consistency, showing up for myself. Because if I'm not showing up for myself, I can't show up for anybody else. It gives me that outlet to make sure I'm a better husband, a better father, a better doggy dad. And the longest journey I went on with my own body and my mind and friendship was I had the privilege of doing the TGNY 100, which is a 100-mile race that starts in Times Square, and it was 27 hours and 50 minutes, and I had friends that joined me along the way, and I wanted to sleep in Brooklyn somewhere on some park bench and watching the sunrise by the Verrazano and finishing it in Times Square and my wife there before we had kids. But it's a pretty magical journey to go on with yourself. You find out if you want to speak to a higher being, go on a long running journey. I don't know what that higher being is. I'm not a religious person, but I know that I found something way deeper inside myself than I ever thought I could do. Thank you.